Welcome to the Nerd BS podcast. My name is Kyle, and I'm joined here with Alan and Tomas, and we are a podcast about basically nerd stuff. There's general pop culture things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about video games. We're going to talk about tabletop games. Those are our three main topics that we're going to be going over as a podcast. And yeah, we're calling it Nerd BS. Actually, the BS isn't quite what you think it stands for, but I will let Alan explain what that means.
I like to keep it vague, but I think we'll go with the backstory was the initial uh, uh, idea. But um, yeah. So I don't think you said movies in that, though, did you? Or did I miss that? And just pretty
I
much
said,
anything I'm going for.
yeah, general pop culture. So that's
Whatever we
going to
want
be
to talk
mostly
about.
movies. That's right. Whatever
Anyways,
we
yeah, I'm
want to
Alan over
talk
here.
about.
Uh,
Yeah. So so Nerd BS stands for Nerd Backstory, but you can come up with your own ideas. We are going to try to keep this family friendly as much as possible, so you can listen with your friends and family. But if we slip up, forgive us. We'll do our best. On that note, Tomas, why don't you kind of explain what made us decide to do a podcast in the first place?
I feel like we all wanted to talk about different topics in the nerd, I guess, kind of sphere. And we felt like it would be a good way to share our inputs with each other and for others to hear how we feel and what we think about certain things and topics relating to our cast.
Personally, I have a little background in Twitch streaming, and that's something I really loved doing back in the day. And I actually did a couple little snippet casts here and there with some people I used to hang out with quite a bit at the time. But unfortunately, as you both know, I no longer live in an area that is easy for casting anything like that anymore. And it's actually when Kyle brought this up and a while ago, uh, I got kind of excited. I've been getting kind of excited for a while. It's been a back and forth between us three, and just being in the limelight of something like that again sounds really exciting for me, and it'd be really fun to actually do something like this more structured.
Yeah, I remember when you did the streaming on Twitch. It was a while ago, and it was the first time I had seen somebody stream, and I thought it was the weirdest thing at the time. Like this, no one's gonna go for this thing, and now I watch Twitch like every day.
This will never catch on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
right.
Yeah, same here. I don't have very good internet, but I do watch a stream now and again as well. It's addicting. It's nice to have in the background too, and it's just I don't know, comforting. I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's great background noise. I like that you said the limelight too. Just I've been excited about doing this since we've been talking. We've been talking about it for a while, like you said, but as we've gotten closer to actually doing this, I have been looking forward to it and getting all organized and coming up with the topics. And so I'm just excited to do this. So I'm glad we're here.
Agreed.
On that note, we are going to go into a topic we call the news, where we just talk about kind of some pop culture things that have happened in usually the past week, could be whatever, but the first thing we're going to call it the good, the bad, and the ugly of the news. So we're going to give you something that we're kind of glad happened. We're going to give you something that bad, maybe it wasn't great, and then obviously the ugly, just man, we wish that didn't happen at all. So let's start with the ugly, because Alan, you said you like to end on a positive note, um, which is the Avengers video game, which I believe the beta's out and or out, or you're going to be able to get it on the 4th in a couple days from when we're recording this. Do you guys have you guys seen any of this gameplay?
I personally haven't seen any of it.
I have. I've been actually watching a little bit. I watch a YouTuber by the name of these topics, and he played a bit as he showed it on his channel, and I was watching the gameplay of it. It looks interesting, and the way it's been described a couple times is the characters look like um, stunt doubles. Essentially, they look like they're trying to make the famous MCU heroes, but instead they were only able to get the B team. Kind of reminded me of just a little tidbit that's out of nowhere. Spaceballs, when they think they caught the main cast, and they turn around and it's just a bunch of stunt doubles. Uh,
That is a
but that's
great
exactly what it looks like to me.
comparison.
It looks yeah, they just don't look right. And also it looks so dull. And we want to talk about this later, but I bring it up now. Marvel Ultimate Alliance, uh, just in comparison, how colorful and bright, and even though it's on a less powerful console, it doesn't run perfectly, but it runs good. But at the end of the day, it's still a good game to look at, and I think that's something to do with like comic book styles. I mean, they're gotta be bright and colorful in your face, and this is like dull and bland, and the combat looks super busy. I'm getting really bad Anthem vibes from this actually, and I actually bought Anthem when it came out right away, and I just remember just that feeling of getting the game, starting to play it, and it's just dying. And this feels exactly the same way. And I'm really worried about it because I really like Marvel and I really wanted a game like this, but it's
Yeah,
just upsetting.
I also was looking forward to it, but everything leading up to this has not been what I wanted. And yeah, I'm kind of tired of the superhero realms getting away from the colorful, fantastical world that we were supposed to escape to.
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna say, like, there is a place for dark, and but you can still do dark right. You don't have to do dark bad. like, um, and I don't know. Maybe the new Avengers game is going for a more dramatic feel, a more intense feeling, but you can achieve that without sacrificing a good story and without sacrificing a good visual. You don't.
I can see what you're saying right there. And I do agree in a sense, just for the simple fact, like if you compare Arkham Asylum, which is a very dark game, but it's also I still feel, and maybe I'm wrong, but I still feel that game does have a lot of color sprinkled out within it, which does kind of brighten in the dark spots. But comparing it to, like, for instance, Spider-Man, that is another uh, Marvel franchise that they made the Spider-Man game on PlayStation, and it's really good, really colorful, and it's kind of upsetting that it doesn't look more like that in the sense. But like you said, escapism, Kyle. That's kind of the idea.
Yeah, that is the idea. On another dark note, kind of the bad part of our news section this week is that the actor Chadwick Boseman has passed away, actually from cancer. And we put it in the bad section because, first of all, it's Black Panther, and he did a fantastic job as that character. Couldn't have asked for anyone better. But everything I've been hearing and reading about how he handled his illness and just the kind of person he was is nothing but positive things. And so it's a bad thing that we lose someone like that in this world that was making things better. And it's a good thing that he's not suffering anymore, but it's bad that we kind of lose that kind of a person. So I don't know if you guys wanted to add anything about Black Panther, Chadwick.
Yeah, yeah, Chadwick. That was that's like, my wife came out here and showed me that news while I think it was rating or something, or when I got it, and it just, yeah, it made my jaw drop. It was like, holy crap, I would not expect that. Um, I didn't even think twice about the whole thing beforehand, because he the way he portrayed the character and everything. Like, I would have no idea of what he was going through, his health wise. But yeah, it's just incredible. He was an incredible actor. I've actually been trying to look into more of his films because of this whole as well. But I guess that's a bad reason, or maybe it's a good reason to go look into somebody's catalog. But yeah, it's really upsetting.
I feel like Black Panther was definitely his his burst into the limelight, I think, for a lot of us. I don't think a lot of us knew who he was until he became Black Panther. And actually, on Netflix, I saw a movie with him. It's a movie where he is essentially an assassin. It's like one of those Bourne movies, and it was it wasn't anything that like stood out or anything, but it was a good movie. And I kind of wonder, like, I'm with Alan here. I kind of wonder of like, wow, what else has he done? I kind of want to see what else this guy's done, because Black Panther was unfortunately the first time I really saw him.
Right. Yeah, me too. And he's a fantastic actor. Um, I say, why not look up his catalog? I mean, I
Yeah,
don't think it's a bad reason. I think it feels like he pumped out quite a few movies too in the past 5 years alone.
yeah. I was just looking at his Wikipedia, and there's quite a bit of films on there. So he's got a very extensive catalog. I know I've heard of one recently. I know I was listening or watching something. I don't even know where it's from, but 42 uh, was another one that he came out in 2013
Yes,
that I need to check out, which is supposed to be really good as well.
that is a fantastic one. Yes, I saw that. That was a good one. That the Jackie Robinson one.
Yeah, yeah,
Definitely worth a watch. So moving on, we pay our respects actually. I don't want to just brush over that, but we pay our respects to Chadwick and his family and pray that they are doing well in this time of grieving. But
yeah.
moving on to a more positive note, we have one more bit of news. It is the Arkham series, and I believe you guys have more to talk about it than I do. So I'll pass it over to Tomas to talk about Arkham.
Yeah. So, like we were just discussing with the Avengers, and and I was just saying, there are ways to do it dark, and as Alan pointed out, the Arkham series is a good example of that, and it is. And I don't know about you guys, but I enjoyed the Arkham series probably more
Too
than
much?
anyone naturally should. But
I love
but
it. It's a great winter game. Yeah.
but I'm a huge Batman fan, always have been. I grew up on him. The new Arkham games coming out, and apparently in 2021, uh, the first one that I feel looks the most interesting is Gotham Knights, although it's being done by WB Montreal, which I know a lot of people weren't excited about Arkham Origins and they didn't really love it.
Hey, I loved Arkham Origins. I don't care what anybody says. That game was amazing. It's also great Christmas game because I think I played it around Christmas time.
The other one is Suicide Squad, which is actually coming out from the Rocksteady Group and WB. And that one's also posted for 2021, although there has not been any gameplay footage of it so far. And there has been gameplay footage of Gotham Knights, but you guys can see the official trailers for both of them. They look great. Uh, yeah, and that's the good.
Yeah. Yes. I will always welcome another Arkham game, and so I'm excited for that.
Oh, yeah. I was just gonna say that Suicide Squad looks okay, but yeah, the trailer is kind of weird. I'm a little worried about the Arkham Knights game, and also Just want to leave on A. Tim is fine, but why couldn't we get Damien? I want Damien. Damien's a much more interesting Robin than Tim. But anyways, I'll back off.
Agreed, but I'm excited for Arkham.
Still looks good though.
I agree with that, but I'm still excited for another Arkham game. I'm also getting the same vibes for Suicide Squad as I am for the Avengers, but we will see because there's not a lot.
Yeah.
But we are going to move on to our first topic of the podcast, and it's related to what we're just talking about because apparently we have an announcement for the upcoming Batman movie. Now we know who's going to play Batman, and we can get into that a little bit, but we want to talk about the villains, particularly in this section. So, our topic tonight. Well, first, I don't know if we should reveal it. I guess it's been revealed, but you guys tell me who is the villain coming out for the new Batman movie?
Well, yeah, it's been revealed that it is going to be the Riddler, although it is I feel the most oddest way to portray the Riddler that I've personally seen. And then if I can just give a little bit of personal opinion, Riddler's a C-lister, a B-lister at best. He's not A-list.
Really?
No.
But
disagree.
I don't know about C-lister.
He's a Joker. He's a Joker
Wait.
with
See,
riddles.
I always felt Riddler was a little bit more structured than Joker, where Joker is a bit more chaotic, just kind of makes them different.
So are we talking about Jim Carrey Riddler, or are we talking about Arkham Series Riddler?
I just don't care in which universe you put him. I mean, I guess I would have to give it to you. Okay, maybe not a C-lister. Maybe that's a little more personal, but he's definitely a B-lister. He's not an A-lister.
I will say, if you ask someone in the street Batman villains, I bet you Riddler's going to come up pretty quick.
Oh no!
Yeah,
First, you're gonna hit Joker, and you're probably gonna get Scarecrow nowadays because of what Nolan's Scarecrow did, which was
maybe.
And you'd probably get Two-Face. Hold on, I think I can keep going before I hit Riddler. Bane.
I still think most people would actually say Riddler over
Catwoman.
Two-Face,
Catwoman,
and even Bane.
Ivy.
Well, here's my baseline. I go off the Adam West show, the 1966 series. Those are the base villains. Those are the A-listers.
Solid show.
And although they probably couldn't even do a Bane, I don't know if Bane was created back then. Riddler was part of that crew.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'll have to give you from Batman's words. Well, okay, no, it wasn't Batman. It was Nightwing's words himself saying when he sees Riddler, if you guys have seen the Batman Hush, you would know this. When he sees Riddler driving down the road,
Seen it.
He goes, "Oh man, all the B-listers are even coming out now." I
don't remember the quote, but that sounds about right.
So I mean, from the Dark Knight's Apprentice's own mouth.
Fair enough. I'll give you that
I don't
point.
know. I've always had a soft spot for Riddler. Maybe it's his costume. Maybe because Joker is a little bit too mainstream for me. But I've always enjoyed Riddler. But anyways, but yes, you were saying some stuff about which I've actually heard a lot of people comment that they are using a lot of Hush's style for this Riddler. It's been said a couple times, but I think you're coming to that.
Yeah, if you the official trailer's out now, and you can see it, and how they're kind of opening it is a little interesting. So spoilers, go watch it first. But spoilers, it opens with a murder scene, and this guy has his face looks like it's all bandaged up. And Alan, do you remember what was on the face? I cannot recall what was
No.
on the face. Something about "No more lies." I think it was "No more lies" was written on the mask, and the whole face stealing thing is a very, and for those of you who know this are probably saying it right now, is a very Hush thing. It's a Hush. That's
Yeah,
Hush's MO.
but so I mean, but no one's knows Hush. The general public isn't aware of Hush as a villain.
Yeah, if you go back to that random person on the street, before they get to about 20 Batman villains, they're probably not even saying Hush.
Fair enough. Fair enough. They've probably gone Killer Croc. They've probably gone Calendar Man before they
Yeah, I was
hit
gonna
Hush.
say Calendar.
Yeah.
They hit Calendar Man for sure.
Not saying it's a bad villain, just saying, yeah, it's not a very known villain.
No, you guys are right. Hush really has very little notoriety, and it to me though is like, this is your chance. You're redoing a Batman film, so you know everyone's going to come anyways, and you're reintroducing a whole new Batman, which, like every other Batman, everyone's like, oh, I don't know if he can do it. I don't know. I think you were saying that, Alan.
Yeah, it does feel that way. Just about. I mean, past Michael Keaton, I think every Batman henceforth has had some sort of shade drawn out for them before they actually play the part. I think the only one that's really bombed it hard is a little unknown actor from ER named George Clooney, I think is his name.
Dang, throwback to ER. Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
The good old Bat card.
Yes. Don't leave home without it.
But anyways, so you're redoing everything new. You're making everything new, and why not give the public a new villain, one that really hasn't been seen before? I mean, they did it with Scarecrow with Nolan.
Yeah, I will give you the Nolan one. They did go a little bit obscure. Because even what did you even have Ra's al Ghul? Batman Begins, was
Right.
he even there?
Yeah.
That's really out
Yeah.
there.
That was a double villain movie, and they
Yeah.
was
Now
done,
people
it was
remember that
alright.
too, even though Liam Neeson and Ra's al Ghul, which is interesting. But I still would argue that Scarecrow is more well known, and maybe it's because of the Batman animated series. Why Scarecrow is probably more known than Hush, because I don't think Hush was ever in the Batman animated series. He may have not even been around.
Actually,
So I think
I feel like
is he a newer villain?
No, I could have sworn he was in it once. There's like one
I
season.
think he's in the animated series. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is he?
but
Is
it's
he in there? I
later.
haven't watched in a little while.
It's late. It's late in the whole set.
But still, but I know people do know Scarecrow.
He didn't get the reoccurrence that Scarecrow got in the animated series, that Riddler got in the animated series, that Two-Face
Scarecrow
got.
Even what the third seasons where they did a whole change in the art style, and even Scarecrow got a redone look, if I remember correctly.
And they actually did a whole, I believe, chain of episodes with Scarecrow where they were like to be continued, at least 2 or 3.
So basically, you're hurting your argument. Scarecrow is much more known than Hush.
But all I'm saying is, it's your chance to do something new. So wow us, and why not wow us with Hush, especially if you watch the trailer and you see the Riddler's costume. It's Hush's costume.
I'm curious if that's actually his costume. I feel like there may be a more stylized costume that's going to be introduced later. That might be a little nothing right there, but who knows? I do agree. I do know a little bit about Batman, and when I did see the trailer, I instinctively thought Hush for the same reasons. And I only found out much later that it was the Riddler. I did see the little riddle that was going on. I was like, well, maybe, but Hush does make sense. And then when I saw it was announced as Riddler, I was like, okay, I get it. But I do also agree, maybe they are taking some aspects of Hush and making a more modern, darker Riddler, and just
I honestly feel like, and once again, if you have not seen Batman Hush, go watch it first. But I have a feeling that they're doing something more along those lines.
yeah.
Yeah, it could be like the old switcheroo.
Mhm.
It
It's
actually
possible.
is
Maybe
Hush.
he could be in there. Maybe he is in there. Maybe he's gonna be in the second one or something. Maybe they have a plan. And who
It
knows?
could
Because I know
be.
Hush, if I remember correctly, is a very mastermindy person. So
Yeah.
maybe there's something else going on that we don't know about.
And also, just one last thing, really quick. If you look and if you hear what they were saying, like we want to do a more down to earth, even more down to earth than Nolan. Like we want villains who are so they will want villains that are easy to be down to earth too. Riddler can be a little what's the good word I'm looking for? A little out there. He's not a good down to earth villain. Hush, on the other hand, if you've read a Hush comic or if you've seen if you've read a Hush comic, you'd know that Hush is a perfect opponent for a great detective, whereas Riddler is just kind of a
And
pompous
you are
little.
really down on Riddler.
You
I
really,
don't
yeah.
like him. I really
Like
don't.
I don't understand it. I really enjoy Riddler, and I
I've
feel like
I've never been a
I know
huge
what it
fan of
is.
Riddler.
I know what it is. It is all
what
those dang Riddler trophies in all the games that you have.
that's true. That's true. I do grow a
1,000
slight
trophies.
disdain whenever I do that Riddler hunt.
Created a hatred in me.
It created a villain out of
I mean,
you.
who is the true villain of those Arkham games? All three of them is the Riddler.
I mean, kind of.
He
He's
makes you
just,
do the
but
most
he's
work.
but
He
he's
does
kind of
make
in
you
the
work for it.
background. He's just kind of in the background, like, oh, I'll get to this if I get to this. Jeez.
Yeah, you don't even need to get him to technically beat it. That's a good
Well, you
point.
got to save the people that he's
I mean, you
captured, but
got to
after
though, because
that,
if
it's
you
kind
don't,
of
I
like,
mean, yeah, he's just gonna massacre people.
yeah.
Yeah, but
But
he was
anyways,
like in a big mech suit at the end of one of them or something.
Yeah, they get kind of weird. I mean, it's Riddler. What are they gonna do with him? He's not gonna. He has no chance against Batman, like fighting wise.
well, yeah, because
Yeah,
he says his great skill on Batman is his mind, and Batman solves all his riddles while fighting other crimes.
you just gave Tomas another point for Riddler
Yeah.
being not a good villain. So,
There you go. Okay, well, there you go.
um,
I like Riddler. But anyways,
so speaking of fighting superhero teams, there's a little game called Marvel Ultimate Alliance on the Nintendo Switch that we've been playing quite a bit of. And Alan, you mentioned earlier that we were going to talk about this game because the Avengers game is out, and this is technically the video games portion of the podcast. And so, um, what I want to say about it is that why make this Avengers game if you have an Ultimate Alliance game, which is good, which we've put many hours into, and then it's it's like a lesser cast with less colors for going back to the new Avengers game coming out. When Ultimate Alliance was like, maybe it's not a great franchise, but I love it, and I thought the game was great because you get the X-Men in there, which is all I'd really want. Is just another X-Men Legends game.
Well, I don't know if it's not a great franchise. I think what it's put out 3 games, right?
we'll say Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which is the one specific one we're talking about.
Sure. Yeah. Sorry. The one. Well, it's the only one on the Switch.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
But it has not gone on sale since it's come out. At least I haven't seen it. Not on the eShop, maybe somewhere else, but not on the eShop. Because I was watching it for a long time to go see it go on sale, and I didn't see it go on sale. I could be
Yeah.
wrong because I've been watching it since I bought it, but I haven't seen anything pop up, and I usually
I
stay on
think.
top of those eShop sales.
Yeah, I think recently it did, but it wasn't much. But my question is, does that indicate that it's a good game?
I would argue that it indicates it's selling, because I would say that if it doesn't go on sale, that means people are buying it at the price.
True. I bought Anthem for I think $5, brand new,
Yeah.
like you were talking
I bought
about.
I bought it for 40
Whoa.
when it came out, which is sad. Yeah. It was a $6 game, but they had some sort of deal, and I was like, "Oh, I'll get it for 40." And yeah, I was disappointed. But anyways, uh,
I mean, and going back to what we were saying about the sale price and stuff. I mean, it, and what Alan was saying. It's obviously in demand enough that people are willing to pay that price. That you know you have a game that works. Why do you want to? It
well,
just it feels
my
like
theory is the Avengers game, Marvel's Avengers. Well, not my theory. I take it back. The theory I've heard a lot and I have adopted is that it wasn't originally a multiplayer game. It was actually a single player game that Square Enix was publishing and whoever was making it, and it was actually pushed to be a multiplayer game. Uh,
I
specifically, not
yeah.
just a multiplayer game, but specifically a games as service game, which is a game that can continuously go on and keep making money. That's why I think that they want to push that. And Marvel Alliance is not built
Right.
that way.
And that might be a bigger topic, excuse me, where the games are heading, video games in general, where that's the
yeah.
model, which makes sense because it's like, if you look at like a Halo game where it's like, oh, we have, I don't know, 8 total, maybe more, where instead you could, Halo
Oh, and
Infinite is
there's a new
coming
one
out.
coming out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
Infinite.
want to deter too much, but
Yeah,
like that's the model where it's like, let's just keep adding to it. However, I didn't know that about the single player mode. That would have made me more excited to play it.
yeah, I agree.
Um, and then make a new Ultimate Alliance, or add to Ultimate Alliance, or make
I would
Ultimate
have loved.
Alliance
Yeah.
on another console or something.
Uh, this is a Marvel Alliance discussion talk. One of my biggest gripes to Marvel Alliance. Well, I love it and it's amazing. Thinking back on 1 and 2, and even all the way back to X-Men Legends 1 and 2, their predecessors. Uh, the customization with the heroes was very complex, and there was a lot you could do with them. Um, Whereas the newest one, MUA3 on Switch, it's very simplified, and I kind of it would have been nice, like you were just saying, if they would have just released a MUA4, but just given some of that customization back. That'd have been nice, and on modern consoles too, because that was the worst part about it. It's on Switch, and there's a bit of slowdown, and there's some graphical issues, which probably could have been adjusted for on a more powerful system.
Yeah, and some glitches with some of the downloadable characters, like we saw with Cable and things like that. So it definitely would have been nicer if we had gotten that kind of cleaned up. And I agree with Alan. If we had gotten that kind of customization again, uh, I think that I don't know why the new Marvel game went this way, because I would say it's definitely a money. To me, it feels like definitely a money grabbing scheme, and believe me, that's coming from someone who has said a lot of times, like with loot boxes, yeah, maybe it's gambling.
How much you brushed off? Is it Shadow of Mordor? Was that
Oh, I
the
loved
sequel?
Shadow of Mordor,
That's a sequel, right? Where they have like a bunch of terrible
Shadow of
Shadow
War.
of War. I
Yeah,
played Shadow of Mordor a lot, but I didn't get Shadow of War. But yeah, they went crazy with those. Yeah, that stuff, and it's a little sickening.
I loved it, and you're right. There is no excuse for it, though. You're right, Alan. There isn't, and so it kind of comes down to like, but why did Marvel need to grab money like this? I mean, like
Because they want money. That's
I
pretty
know
much it.
they're
But
Yeah,
it
you want to make money, but you also want, like, I
keeps some
think the
integrity.
intention is good. Yeah, I
yeah.
think this when you set out to make a game, especially with the Avengers, we're at the peak of, probably the peak of where they'll be for a long time coming
Especially with those
in
characters, because most of
popularity.
them are getting recast and stuff, right? They've been getting pushed
Hmm.
aside.
Yeah, they're doing a whole new phase.
Yeah.
So, but at the same, that being said, there's, I don't know, hundreds of different people touching the game, inputting it into the game, and that can go sideways fast.
Like to me, it's like, okay, Ferrari wants to make money, but that doesn't mean that they're going to start making their cars worse. You know what I mean? Ferrari is still going to be a Ferrari. You know what I mean? So like when when you have money and when you're making money, why jeopardize your product to grab a couple extra bucks? Is my opinion.
Yeah, and this is all slimy.
That's a fair question, but let's
Uh,
get back to
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
sorry.
game we
On a
played. No,
positive
that's
note
fine.
for MUA3, what I wanted to say before we moved on, it's an amazing game. I know I got really negative back there, but it is an amazing game. I've put over 100 hours into it. I think I played more than these two, and my son
Yes,
also played a crap ton as well. So
you
I
guys did.
highly recommend it. It has issues, but that's about it.
I'll say this in MUA3's favor. Before MUA3 came out, I had bought Pokemon for the Switch, and that was it.
You bought a Pokemon machine.
And then when
Good for you.
MUA3 came out, I said, okay, I'll get a second game. And I have not regretted it.
Hey, that's
So-
usually my guideline for buying a handheld as well from Nintendo. Is there a Pokemon on it? All right, I'll pick it up.
Exactly.
I think I have a Pokemon game. I haven't played a Pokemon game ever.
Yeah,
But
I know.
Tomas, have you gotten the free jump rope game on Switch?
No, I haven't.
Better
You got
because
to
I
look
think
at
it's
that.
going away.
It's going
Oh,
away
really?
at the end of the month. Yeah, you got to get it. But speaking of free games, Fall Guys is a game that's out, and it was technically free if you had a PlayStation account.
Plus account.
PlayStation Plus account. Yeah, there's too much. They need to combine all that, but that's another topic.
Yeah.
I believe I'm playing it and I'm enjoying it, but I think it's overrated. The hype of it's starting to die down a little bit, but it's fun, and I'm glad it's free because I would not pay for it. That's for sure. I don't know if you. I think Alan and I played it.
Well, it comes down to like, okay, here's the thing, and this is probably where I'm going to get a lot of flack, but I don't play Fortnite. I don't play games like that. I don't I don't usually enjoy those kind of games. And to me, isn't Fall Guys just another Fortnite? Like, I mean,
No.
No, I would not
No.
compare it to
all
Fortnite
right.
really at
Yeah.
all.
Fortnite is like shooter. It's a what is it called? Battle arena. No, what is it called?
Battle Royale.
Battle royale. It's like a large battle royale. Every 100 people go in, they'll kill each other and build stuff. Fall Guys is you take 60 people and you basically play Mario Party mini games, but they're really chaotic.
Have you ever seen the?
But still, the concept is the same. A bunch of people in one big area all try to compete for one challenge for victory.
It has that one aspect in common, the battle royale, but it's not.
Yes.
You can't even call it a battle. It's. Have you seen the show Wipeout? You ever seen that old
Yes.
ABC show?
Yeah,
That-
yeah.
That's Well, you've seen the game.
Well, yeah,
I-
I've seen the game.
but
I've not played the game, and I'm just being a little bit of a devil here. So I mean, let's
no, I said it's
sell me.
overrated. So I'm not. I'm on your side.
Yeah, he's saying he's overrated. I would be the devil's advocate of both of you, and I do not think it's overrated. I think it is. It is a very small premium price, which I think is $20, which is not that bad. And I've been following the developers on Twitter, and they have been very fun to follow, and been very supportive with donations and stuff like that so far. But as I've told Kyle already when we were talking about it and playing it, it's only a matter of time before they probably get corrupt, sadly. But for now, it is really fun, and I do think the premium is good enough. My son is actually looking into it, getting the premium. They don't even have a battle pass system, which is really nice. They
That is
do
good.
have money, an in-game currency, which you have to pay for. Oh, you don't have to; you can pay for. But I haven't felt the need to, which is I'm not a huge fan of, but whatever. But I would argue it is really good, and it is worth the price. It's a very fun, very good game to just dip into for a little bit. I will say though, even though I agree it's worth it, I probably still would not have paid it at premium.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay for it. I'm glad they gave it away for free. and I can't wait to buy my Avengers costume on there. That's my prediction, is that they're
Yeah,
going to
I agree.
sell Deadpool costumes to little kids, which I think we all agree is kind of slimy. But
Yeah.
moving on to our third topic, we were going to discuss one more game, but we're out of time. So we're going to move on to, we'll save that for next time, the Crystal
All right,
Chronicles thing.
fine.
I know, I'm
Next
sorry.
week, Chris Chronicles.
Yep, that's on the list. So we're moving on. I think I mentioned it earlier. I hope I did in the intro, but this is the tabletop games section of the podcast, and that includes some may have heard of a thing called D&D, and there's a bunch of other games that we play, whether that be Magic, The Gathering, HeroClix, but I'm going to hand it over to you guys because you guys play quite a bit of D&D, and I know you have stuff to talk about.
Little indie game known as Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, we play. Both me and Tomas actually play in a game on every week. He plays a couple other games as well of D&D on the side, but specifically what we're talking about today, not that. We're talking about the Mythic Odysseys of Theros, which I think is out now. I know it was coming out. No, yeah,
All
well, I
right,
guess it's been out for a
explain
little
to
while.
me
Yeah.
what that is. What, like,
So
give me
this
like
is
the 1 minute overview.
Of D&D?
yeah, 1 minute overview.
No,
Okay,
no.
so
I mean, I know what D&D is, but
it's
I
been out
don't know what
for a
you
little
just
while. It's been out
said.
since July, so I'm a little behind on this one. But I was looking at it, and it actually has a couple races: Leonin, which is a lion race, and a satyr.
Satyr.
Another several more races. So this product overview, this product is a essentially an expansion pack. So you have your core D&D game, and this is a product that you can buy to add more things to your game.
Got it.
Usually involving races, classes. Well, not usually classes. It's actually really rare. It's usually archetypes, which is branches off of classes, and other monsters and things like that. This in particular has those two races, some bard colleges, some paladin oaths. Uh, there's another one coming out, but I can't remember what it was right now, and I'll have to look it up, and that'll probably go into another week. But this is an interesting one, and it came out recently.
I will say this with D&D especially. I remember when I started playing 5e with you, Alan, and we were talking about the races, and one of my first things I said to Alan, I was like, there are not a lot of beast people in this game.
Yeah, it wasn't for a while.
And like you're saying, now we have the choice of the lion men, the leonin, and they've added more like the minotaur and the centaur, and it's nice, is what I'm saying, is to get an expansive new races that are not just human, because I don't know about you guys, I'm not a huge fan of playing a human in my fantasy games. If I'm going to play fantasy, I want to be something fantastical. So
I actually usually lean towards more human,
yeah,
close to
and
human.
like I believe another friend of ours is more like that as well. I don't know about Kyle though.
It depends on, what I'm playing. I haven't played an official D&D game, I don't think.
That is
No, I
something we'll have
take
to
that back.
change someday. But
No, yeah, I'm
oh,
not
we
opposed
used
to
to
it
play
or anything.
O'Reilly's.
Yeah.
I know you played that
Yeah,
with me a little bit.
I
and
played a little back in the day, like the old school one that a buddy of mine had, and I loved it. I thought it was amazing. But yeah, I think I agree with Tomas. Like, I want to be a dwarf, or sometimes I want to be an elf. Like but yeah, I mean, once in a while I'll be a human if I just kind of want to feel like a real hero. But
Yeah,
but sometimes I want to be a drunk dwarf. So
of course. Yeah, yeah. That's kind of what I just like. I like races that are a little more closer to human. But I've done off ones too. I've tried to expand my horizons. I think, for instance, I think this last character I made in your game was actually my first female character in D&D.
yeah,
Just trying out expanding my role playing prowess. Try to be a little better at that. But yeah, because we playing a game of Curse of Strahd right now, and I might set up a segment in the future for that to discuss that a little bit. But
Yes.
yes,
So,
so this one's
are you
out
guys
already.
are you excited for this one?
Yeah, it's already out. So, but yes, I am. So it came out actually a month and a half ago. I didn't even realize it was out yet, so it shows up the times I am. But yeah, I'm excited about mailing for the Lion people for Tomas, because I know that was one of the first things we were talking. He wanted to be a lion person, and he ended up being a tabaxi instead, which is a cat person, or a more, I guess, what would you call it,
More
jaguar,
kind of
lynx? I
live
don't know.
cats. Yeah, more
Yeah,
less more solitary type cats. And big cat, but not like lion or tiger. Like definitely
yeah.
more.
It makes sense for their stats, but this they get their own personal stats, so that means they're probably more focused in maybe even strength or uh, I mean, a lion. I would imagine even charisma. I haven't looked at it up. Should look at it, see if I can find it.
I have actually played a one shot with some friends, and I did it. And I played the Leonin as a barbarian. Ooh, let me tell you,
Okay,
they're
I
made
can
for
see that.
barbarian. They're made
Made for
for it.
barbarian, huh? I would think more like a paladin. I don't know. When I think of a lion, I think of a paladin. Maybe that's my Final Fantasy 14 life.
Well, I mean, you could probably paladin this. It's strength and constitution are their
Okay,
boot.
strength con, yeah. So any fighter class, that would probably be nice. And Satyr is definitely a bard. I know my brother was telling me about that.
Oh yeah,
Very,
with the charisma and
yeah, it's
dex.
like charisma dex.
Hmm.
Very bardling, which makes sense for a satyr. You want to call it satyr, but I think it's satyr. I think that's the
Yeah,
right way to say
satyr.
it.
Satire?
Yeah, satire. Yeah, that's what like satire. But anyways, but
I do
yeah,
know that D&D though was not the only thing that all of us were excited for. There was some new clicks that came out, hero clicks.
That is
Kyle.
correct.
hey,
Um,
those
yeah.
transitions are for Kyle's job.
I thought that was smooth. I was
Just kidding. Go
excited.
ahead. Go. I'm just poking.
Yeah, but there's no going back though once we switch. So
That's
say your
fine.
piece. Yeah, so we play a game called Hero Clicks, which is a tabletop game. You get these figures. We basically call it like a game of chess, but really complicated and absurd superhero powers. And the latest set that came out, which apparently came out last month. What month are we in, man? This
Yeah,
logged
Yeah,
out.
last month.
we're in
Last month it came
September.
out. But yeah, I mean, we're not able to play it yet, so that's kind of the downside. But the good thing is they're still making hero clicks, which I'm really excited for. And I'm going to point out a couple. There's a Spider-Man 1776, which this is a game changer to me because he's a 75-point piece, but he gives any soldier character when you're making a theme team. He gives any soldier character that the keyword, the Spider-Man family keyword. So now any soldier character can be on a theme team, which includes most Captain Americas, most War Machines,
Wow.
Winter
Ooh.
Soldiers, Red Skulls, Silver Sable, Nick Furies. Like I could go down the
So
list.
he's like that Batman that I have that says anyone with Gotham
Yeah,
gets
they're
Batman
they're doing
ally.
that. Yeah, because I got a Cyclops that came out pretty recently. That anybody who
That's
has an
cool
X
though.
Yes.
in their team name, they get to be an X-Men or whatever you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong because we were just on Riddler. Now I hate to have more people hate me for this, but I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan. So I would never make Spider-Man
First Spider-Man.
the backbone of a team. See, what's good for you two is everyone's gonna hate me. So you're fine. They're all gonna love you two.
Spider-Man.
Yep. Yeah. Hating on
So
Spider-Man. Wow.
I'm not a huge fan. I didn't say hate. I said I'm not a huge fan.
Fair enough.
But I would never put Spider-Man as a backbone of a team. Do you think this gives you have you ever put Spider-Man as a backbone of a team?
Just Sony Spider-Man, I'm sure. Was that Cosmic? Was it Cosmic Spider-Man or something that was like
Cosmic
broken?
Spider-Man.
Okay, well, if you make some broken piece, then yes, you
Yeah,
can, of course,
I
have
get
him
what
as
you're
a
saying
backbone.
though. I get what you're saying. The what if character of Cosmic Spider-Man probably doesn't count. So no, I haven't put him as a backbone. However, the difference with this Spider-Man compared to the Cyclops and the Batman is that those were already named keywords, which means they got theme team bonuses. However, it's shifted
Oh.
over. This one is you can get like the 10 point. I mean, not in a modern game, but like the games we play at home, you could get the easy company soldier for 10 points and load those bad boys up. That now they have probability control. So,
Oh wow! And also the price of him is great because my Batman that
yeah,
does it is over 100 points. I don't know about the Cyclops.
yeah,
I have to get
75
my
points
clicks out. It's pretty
is a
cheap.
budget. Yeah. So so I'm really excited that they're still making clicks. Spider-Man set, sure, why not? I don't really have any complaints about that in general. My complaint, though, if I were to complain about it at all, is the fact that the just the sculpts seem to be getting lazier, and maybe there's a reason for it, maybe there's not, but I have a picture of the Carnage clicks side by side here, and the first one they ever made, which is still kind of hard to find, looks the sculpt is just amazing. And you know, to be fair, it would break a lot because it was it was so thin, but it was a great sculpt. Like I'll glue it back together. This new one is just he looks cool, but he's on a tombstone, and there's just not a lot of action happening with them, and so that's just been something that's kind of bugged me for a while.
No, I did notice that with some of the new pieces that I got. I say new pieces, but they were a year ago. I got some new pieces.
Right, yeah, same here.
But I did kind of notice that with some of the new ones that I got because I bought some of the new sets that had come out for Avengers. Because I wanted some new Avengers, and I I got some colossal pieces like Miss is it Miss Marvel? The one that can
Yeah,
grow now?
yeah.
Yeah. I got her and I remember your colossals that you'd showed me, your older ones, and their detail is amazing. This
Like
one is just kinda like, "Oh,
the Spectre.
yeah, oh, that was a
Yeah,
good one."
yeah, that was a good one. Yeah. So I mean, maybe it's just to save damage possibilities, which I could get on board with. But yeah, I'm excited for the set. Who knows if I'll get any anytime soon? And we don't even have a way to play yet. We're not
Yeah,
even doing this podcast together. We're doing
Yeah.
it remotely. So um, that'll bring us to our final section of the podcast I'll just say today. Um, but so it's like a lightning round almost here. What we're gonna do, and the next topic is what games. We'll just do this. What games are you guys playing this week? And I'll shoot it over to Alan.
all right. Well, I have been playing a crap ton of Final Fantasy 14. As you both know, I am an avid Final Fantasy 14 player.
Yeah,
I
you are.
put too many hours in that game. I actually just defeated the most recent tier mostly today with both my main and my alt. So you could say I play the game. Uh, So yeah, it's a great game. I've been having a lot of fun with it, but that's primarily what I've been playing. I've been switching into a little bit of Chris Chronicles. I played a little bit with you the other day. Kind of upset we didn't get to talk about, but that's okay. And then another game that I was going to bring up later, which is Descenders. It's a great game. But that's primarily what I've been playing right now.
Sorry. Yeah. You know what? I'm not sorry about Crystal Chronicles. Tomas, what have you
Oh,
been playing?
That's the
shaggy.
same way I feel about Crystal Chronicles. I ain't sorry about it. No, but honestly, I am one of those people that just play and play and play and play and play a game. And so I just got done playing Ghost of Tsushima. That's probably a terrible way to say
Nice.
that.
No,
Tsushima.
I think you got it.
And then jumped back to Neo because Neo 2 because the DLC came out, and now I've just been sucked into that probably really badly.
Speaking of games going on sale from earlier, I feel like Neo 2 went on sale pretty
Did it?
quickly. Yeah, I see it for like $20, maybe 25.
Kind of the thing about Neo 2, which was kind of disappointing, was they kind of repasted levels. So like you can see levels from Neo 1 in Neo 2. They've just remazed them. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like I could see why it went on sale. It's just it's a game that I thoroughly enjoy because I like those Souls-like games and I like a challenge in my game. I like sweating as I play. It gives me kind of a workout, gets the heart rate going.
Lovely. Good visual.
Smell it from here.
So the games that I've been playing this week are Fall Guys. Obviously, it's great in short bursts, but I can see it getting old pretty quick. But I also started Horizon Zero Dawn for the first time.
Boy.
Yeah, and I got the complete edition. I've just been waiting to play it, but I might just go through the story, and if I ever want to go back and do all the little stuff, I have a hard time not completing games.
No, do it that way because I did every little thing and I am seriously like I talked to a friend of mine who actually beat the game and I told him where I was and he was like, "Yeah, dude, you only have like 5 hours left." And I still haven't beaten it because I did every little thing and I just kind of was like, "Oh, I can't do this anymore."
Yeah. I just kind of want to beat games now. I'm not so much of completing them. So
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying it though.
Spider-Man, the same thing with that one.
It's well done. I like all the upgrades and stuff. So that one's definitely worth checking out. Fall Guys, not so much. So now we're going to talk about. Yeah, I don't know if it's still free, but the indie game of the month, the indie developers, we want to give them some love, and we know Tomas isn't the biggest indie game player. He kind of gave us a little Neo 2 review. He could talk about that more. We're going to get him into these indie games.
The thing is it's not that I don't like indie games. It's that I've never found one that really just was like, "Oh, that's what I want to play." Was Overlord indie back in the day? Remember Overlord?
I don't think so. I don't know much about it though.
That's a stretch.
Well, that's about as indie as it got for me. Or I did play Maneater. That's about as indie as it got for me.
I think, yeah, I'll give you Maneater. All right, so Alan, why don't you tell us your indie of the month?
I love indies, and I found this little gem on Twitter that I never even heard of. But I am a primarily console player, so it has been out for about 2 years previously, but it did recently come to PS4, and I'm talking about Descenders. On Twitch, they were complaining it was hard to find. I didn't have that issue, but also I know how to manage a store, but I can understand it if you're not used to buying stuff on there. Anyways, it is a fun bicycle game, which I have not played many bicycle games in my day. I know a lot of them.
That's a new one for me.
Yeah, I know a lot of them kind of seem to try to be that Tony Hawk style game, and this one definitely has that type of vibe, but it's actually closer to it's more of a roguelite. So let me just describe a little bit as you ride your bicycle down a hill on a course that is randomly generated. And you just can do tricks, but the main goal is getting to the end, and there's a bonus objective. And that sounds easier than it is because some of those courses are pretty crazy. But what's kind of cool about it is the course is not just a course; it's actually a course in like a wilderness area. So you can actually go off the course and you can find your own way to the end if you really wanted to. It's really cool and a great game. It's got wonderful sound as well. The music in it, I turned down the sound effects, just bumped the beautiful music. And actually, I wanted to specifically focus this one to you, Tomas, because it's an EDM style music, and I actually think you'd get a real kick out of it, just the tunes. I'll have to give you a link to I have to give you like a name of the artist that does the music for it. But
Well,
it's
actually, this does sound like an interesting game, so I'm probably gonna have
yeah,
to look.
it's
Yeah,
really
good
This
sell.
might be my first indie. Hey,
I would highly advise it. But anyway, so I got off of rating and I was like, you know what? We're going to do the podcast tonight and I would like to just chillax. So I put it on and I did. They put daily trials on and I did the daily trial. I thought it was going to be like intense. It wasn't. Like I said, I turned down the sound effects and I just let the music go and I was just riding a bicycle and it was just really fun and it got a little tough here and there, but it was really relaxing. Um, but it's a roguelite, which I don't know if either of you have played roguelites before, but essentially you have a grid that you have to go from area to area, track to track, and until you run out of lives, which is you die, quote unquote, or lose a life by just crashing your bike. And you just try to go to the end. You go to the boss track, which is just like a giant jump, and then you go to the next area. It's very simple, and you can wander around that area, going to level, and actually gain more. You get these followers that give you bonuses essentially, and so you can get more of those, and then go to the end, and then it's essentially easier to beat the game after beat that area. Then you move into the next area. But it's a roguelite, so basically, if you lose all your lives, you reset your progress. But it's short enough that it's easy to keep going back, and also you gain cosmetic features that you can use for your character to use for the next time, and things like that. It's like I said, it's a really fun, relaxing, beautiful game that's just fun to put on and just enjoy yourself. And apparently, there's a multiplayer mode that I haven't played yet, and I'm curious about it, but I have to find somebody who owns the game first. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you got me on the relaxing part. It
yes.
sounds like a good time
If you
to
have PS
play
Plus,
that.
I think it's still $22. It's not much of a sale. I think it's normally 25. So it's not that big of a sale. But like I said, it's definitely worth that price. That's not a large barrier to entry. So I'd find it Descenders by the developer Rage Squid, and it was published by No More Robots.
Nice way to get that information in there. Yeah, no more. I've never heard of that company. But probably the same with my indie of the month is called Defender's Quest. It is done by Level Up Labs. Um, it is a tower defense game, and I actually have the physical copy on the Vita. And I'm not sure if it's exclusive to Vita. It's probably on other stuff. It could probably be a mobile game.
It's on PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, so I have it on I actually bought it during the New Year's Day limited run sale. They had this crazy like over or leftover stock sale, and I just picked it up on a whim because I'm really into limited run games that they publish these indie games. So it's a tower defense game. I haven't gotten too far into it, but just was craving a tower defense game lately, and I was like, oh, I hadn't even opened it yet, and you guys know I have a problem with collecting games.
You
So
do.
I finally opened it. Yeah, I do, and I started playing it. It's really good. It's well done. It's definitely an indie game, but it scratches that tower defense itch that I was looking
Yeah,
for.
look at the pictures of it. It looks like a pixel art game, yeah?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Pixel art style. Nice. It looks really nice.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's and there's a lot of like customization and things you can do with the characters, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. And I love my Vita, so anytime I find a good game on there, I'm gonna talk about it. Um, that being said, I am going to get on my soapbox. So this is the basic final portion of the show where we could talk about anything. It'll probably be nerd related for the most part, but we'll probably talk about family here and there once in a while. And I'm going to get on my soapbox and talk about the state of the PS5 and Xbox Series X, and I guess um, the lack of the price announcement. It's just this weird game that they're playing with the customers, and I want a PS5. I rarely get consoles on at launch, but I was thinking about doing it with the PS5. I'm in a position now where I can do it, and I'm excited for it, and I want to be there, but they're making it hard for me to invest at this point. And so my soapbox this week is just, come on, guys, just give us a price. Give us a price for a PS5 or the Xbox, or I'm just going to buy another Switch. That's what I'll
I
say about that.
yeah, I agree with you, man. I have a friend who's putting away money for it, and it's just like he's just putting away a questionable amount of money trying to figure out if he's going to buy it, and he's just going with an assumption of what he thinks it's going to cost. And yeah, I think so I agree. It's ridiculous.
I'm guessing like 500 or something, maybe
I'm
more.
hoping. Yeah, I'm hoping it's about 500. I think 500 is the limit. I think once you get to like 600, it starts. I don't know. I think it's too much for a
Yeah, it
console.
starts being a little more. It's like at that point, buy a gaming computer if you're gonna spend over that much.
Yeah, fair enough.
You're thinking 500 for a console. You're gonna get an extra controller. You're gonna get a game. I mean, it starts adding up
Mhm.
real quick.
Yeah, so just let us know what we need to save up for.
Yeah.
Passing the soapbox over to Alan. Go
All
ahead.
right. To me, huh? Uh, I'm just gonna do a little shout out. Um, growing up, I watched this little show. Well, it wasn't really growing up, probably more in high school. You guys may have seen it from here and there. Whitest Kids You Know. The really funny show, kind of vulgar humor. I'd look it up if you're into that kind of stuff. They do a lot of good skits. Well, during this fun time during COVID-19 and the pandemic, they've been getting together and doing some discussions here and there, and I've been enjoying the bits by bits. But more recently, and they're actually on the third episode now, they got into another hobby of mine, which was D&D. They actually started doing a D&D campaign with the Whitest Kids You Know comedy troupe, and it's been extremely entertaining. They call it their party is called Buckerson and Myers, and essentially they started with the Lost Mines of Phandalin, which for those who don't know is a basically a starter kit for D&D. You can buy it. It's usually very cheap. It comes with a small rule book and a storyline, and it takes you on a short quest to get you to know the game, so you can invest more and blah blah blah. Well, they decided to do Lost Mines, and it's kind of fun because I've also ran Lost Mines of Phandalin with some family of mine, and it was interesting. And so watching them go through the steps that I did with my family, but completely butchering everything. So they started really well as they were trying to play a fantasy game. But the leader of the bunch, well, kind of the leader, Trevor, found a way to just completely derail everything. And they basically became a comedy troupe within D&D. And so it's actually a hilarious listen to, and I usually don't like watching or listening to long D&D campaigns. While I enjoy Critical Role, those 4-hour segments are way too long for me personally. This is about an hour for the longest one so far, and every time I watch it, I can't stop watching it. Uh, but anyways, really good. Uh, I highly recommend it. And yeah, check it out. Whitest Kids You Know. I think they're on YouTube, so probably Google it, figure it out.
Yeah, that's cool when things combine, like two things you love like that combine.
Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah.
great feeling. Like people are like watching you and studying you and trying to. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
Just prying into your brain.
yeah, Tomas, you are up on the soapbox.
All right. So first off, I'm just gonna talk about. I don't know if you guys liked it or not, but I enjoyed Shazam. I really did.
The
I
movie?
Yes, the movie.
Boo.
I do agree with some people uh, that there was some acting that could have been more childlike. Not the Shazam, the guy who played Shazam, but maybe Billy himself could have been a little more of a kid. So on those parts that I agree. But when I heard that Black Adam was going to be played by The Rock,
Yes, I'm on board for that.
I think I just lost my mind. Like, I was happy. I was really happy. Like, because a lot of the DCU movies have just been a shattering disappointment. Even Oscar nominated Suicide Squad was yeah, not that good. And Shazam.
Sorry, Academy Award-winning
Oh,
Suicide Squad.
sorry, Academy Award winning. Thank you for
They did
correcting
win.
me.
Yeah, that's
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah.
It didn't deserve it though. But the the I really enjoyed Shazam, and when I heard it was gonna be Dwayne the Rock Johnson playing Black Adam, I thought, yeah, this is definitely the perfect cast, and I really hope that they keep the same guy from Shazam, because I thought he played Shazam perfectly, and I think him and The Rock exchanging insults will be hilarious. Like, I thought it was great in the movie how he was trying to ask the the doctor, the bad guy, like, I can't hear you. You're yeah. So like, I just think it's gonna be great, and I really hope that it will be good. And uh although I have heard recently that The Rock has COVID, and I wish him well, and I hope he recovers well.
I do too.
Oh,
I really
that's
like The
unfortunate. I didn't
Rock.
hear that either. Yeah, I am not. I usually, don't really like those huge movie stars, but The Rock is definitely one that I admire. Seems like a great guy.
I agree. I agree with you that I could see that dynamic working. So time will tell. And like you said earlier, I'm gonna go see it. It's a superhero movie, so hope. Come on, let's do it well, though. At least.
Yeah, please.
On that note, that is the conclusion of our first podcast here on Nerd BS. And we just thank you guys so much for listening. Really appreciate taking your time to be with us. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Tomas. You guys are awesome. Love you guys. And I guess we'll see you next time.
Yep.
Right back at you, buddy. Later.